One of the greatest movie stars in the history of Hollywood is gone. It's a title Hollywood doesn't throw around lightly.
Elizabeth Taylor, the legendary actress with radiant beauty and extraordinary talent, became an irreplaceable icon of Hollywood. Her stunning beauty, captivating violet eyes, and commanding screen presence won the hearts of millions of fans. Yet, behind the dazzling glamour and accolades lay a life filled with turmoil, marked by constant upheavals in love, health, and personal tragedies. Taylor not only faced the bright lights of the stage, but also fought through broken marriages, severe health issues, and a storm of public scrutiny. Despite her radiant exterior and glorious career, she endured wounds that few could truly comprehend. Many years after her passing, Elizabeth Taylor's deeply emotional story still astonishes the public, as hidden aspects of her life gradually come to light. What secrets lie behind that glamorous facade? Let's embark on a journey through the trials and tribulations of Elizabeth Taylor, where the brilliance on the silver screen was only the surface of a life marked by tragedy and remarkable resilience. Early life. Elizabeth Taylor was born on February 27, 1932, in Hampstead Garden suburb, a prestigious neighborhood in London, England. She grew up in a wealthy American family with strong ties to the arts. Her father, Francis Len Taylor, was a successful art dealer who owned a renowned art gallery in London. Her mother, Sarah Southern, was a former stage actress who gave up her acting career after marriage to focus on raising her family. This had a profound influence on Elizabeth's development, as her mother instilled in her a desire to pursue the acting career she herself had left behind. Elizabeth had a peaceful childhood in an upper-class family, where she was raised with love and was educated according to the strict standards of high society. However, life in England did not last long. When World War II broke out in 1939, the Taylor family moved to the United States, settling in Los Angeles, California, where they had close connections with Hollywood. From an early age, Elizabeth stood out for her extraordinary beauty. Her mother, with her experience in the entertainment industry, recognized this and encouraged Elizabeth to pursue acting. She was an ambitious mother who wanted to make her own dreams a reality through her daughter. With her striking violet eyes, Elizabeth was a child noted for her rare beauty, catching the attention of many directors and film producers. Not long after arriving in the U.S., the Taylor family quickly seized opportunities in Hollywood. Elizabeth began by taking on small roles in a few short films. Although these were initially minor roles, her charm quickly won over prominent directors. In 1941, she signed a contract with Universal Pictures and starred in her first lead role in the film There's One Born Every Minute in 1942, when she was just 10 years old. However, her career at Universal did not last long, as the studio decided to terminate her contract after only 1 year. Elizabeth's career truly took off when she signed with MGM Studios, which transformed her into one of the most famous child stars of the decade. In 1944, she was cast as Velvet Brown in the film National Velvet, a role considered a major turning point in her career. The film was a massive success, making her a star at just 12 years old. However, despite always appearing flawless in public, her life behind the scenes was rather complicated. Becoming a child star deprived Elizabeth of the chance to live like a normal child. Her freedom was restricted, and she was constantly under the pressure of fame. MGM, where she was under contract, controlled nearly every aspect of her personal life. She had to adhere to a strict work schedule, leaving little time for her to enjoy her childhood. Additionally, the pressure of fame and public expectations weighed heavily on Elizabeth from a young age. She often had to work long hours without time for personal enjoyment. Film studios, especially MGM, frequently required their child stars to use medication to stay awake during long shooting sessions and to help them sleep when necessary. This planted the seeds for the health issues and substance abuse problems that Elizabeth would face later in life. Successful career. A major turning point came in 1951 with the film A Place in the Sun. The role of Angela Vickers not only helped Taylor shed her image as a child star, but also proved that she was an actress with deep psychological insight. A Place in the Sun received critical acclaim, and Elizabeth Taylor quickly became one of Hollywood's most sought-after actresses. In the following years, she continued to showcase her versatility with a series of renowned films such as Giant, 1956, Raintree County, 1957, and most notably, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, 1958. This film earned Taylor her first Oscar nomination and placed her among the top actresses of the era. Her role as Maggie in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof clearly demonstrated Taylor's ability to portray deep emotional complexity, as she embodied a character full of tragedy and longing. The 1960s marked the peak of Elizabeth Taylor's career, with her role as Cleopatra in the 1963 film Cleopatra, which catapulted her name to global stardom. She became the highest-paid actress in the world at the time, earning $1 million, a figure unprecedented in film history. Although the film faced numerous production difficulties and was considered a box office failure, Cleopatra remains one of Taylor's most iconic works. She brought to life a Cleopatra who was powerful, seductive, and sharp-witted, mesmerizing audiences worldwide. Her role in Cleopatra was not only a career highlight, but also marked the fateful meeting between Taylor and Richard Burton, one of her most famous husbands. Their relationship captured significant public attention, and they became Hollywood's most powerful couple of the time. The two starred together in many films, but most notably in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, 1966, a film that won Elizabeth Taylor her second Academy Award for Best Actress. Her portrayal of Martha in this film clearly showcased Taylor's maturity and strength as she embodied a bitter, wounded, and conflicted woman. This role marked a major shift in Taylor's acting style, as she moved away from relying on her beauty and focused more on her ability to convey complex internal emotions. In the years that followed, Elizabeth Taylor continued to take on numerous film projects, but her career began to slow down. Although she no longer maintained the same level of prominence as she did in the 1950s and 1960s, Taylor remained an irreplaceable icon of the silver screen. She was not just an actress with memorable roles, but also a resilient woman who faced personal and professional challenges head-on. Each stage of her career reflected the evolution of a child star into a global icon, from her iconic films to the prestigious awards she received. Elizabeth Taylor spent more than 6 decades in the film industry, evolving from a child star to a global symbol. She overcame every challenge, continuously refining herself, and became one of the greatest actresses of all time. Her career stands as a testament to her talent, determination, and perseverance, turning Elizabeth Taylor into a legend who will forever remain in the hearts of the public and in the history of cinema. Personal life. Elizabeth Taylor, not only a legendary film icon, was also famous for her tumultuous personal life, with 8 marriages to 7 different men. Each of her relationships and marriages brought with it colorful stories, not just of love, but also of conflict, heartache, and hope. Taylor's personal life, from the highs and lows of love to the headline-grabbing scandals, kept her at the center of public attention for decades. Taylor's first marriage began at the age of 18, to Conrad Nicky Hilton, heir to the Hilton Hotel empire. Their wedding in 1950 was a lavish affair organized by MGM as part of the promotion for the film Father of the Bride, in which Taylor starred. It all seemed like a fairy tale, with Taylor's radiant beauty and acting talent matched by a man of upper-class status. However, the marriage quickly turned into a nightmare. Hilton was an alcoholic and often violent towards Taylor. She later admitted that even during their honeymoon, she sensed the breakdown of their relationship, and within months, love turned to misery. After just 9 months, the marriage ended in divorce. It was Taylor's first bitter lesson in love, and the beginning of a series of tumultuous relationships to follow. Less than a year after her divorce from Nicky Hilton, Taylor married for the second time to British actor Michael Wilding, who was 20 years her senior. Wilding, with his gentle and calm demeanor, provided Taylor with a sense of security after the violence of her previous marriage. The couple had 2 sons together, Michael Jr. and Christopher, and their life was relatively peaceful for a few years. However, the significant age gap between them began to show as Taylor's fame continued to rise, immersing her deeper into the Hollywood spotlight. Wilding, though he loved his wife, gradually felt overshadowed by her growing stardom. While their relationship didn't experience the dramatic conflicts of Taylor's other marriages, it couldn't last. In 1957, Taylor and Wilding divorced, marking the end of a rare period of calm in her love life. Taylor's third marriage, to film producer Mike Todd in 1957, was another significant turning point in her life. Todd wasn't just a man who brought Taylor intense feelings of love. He was someone she described as the greatest love of her life. They had a daughter together named Liza, and Taylor felt truly happy as the wife of such a powerful and passionate man. However, that happiness was short-lived when tragedy struck. In 1958, Todd died in a plane crash, leaving Taylor heartbroken and alone. Todd's death was a devastating blow, and it marked the beginning of one of the biggest scandals in Taylor's life. After Mike Todd's death, Taylor began a relationship with Eddie Fisher, a close friend of Todd's and the husband of actress Debbie Reynolds. This affair quickly turned into a public scandal, as Fisher left Reynolds for Taylor. The couple married in 1959, but theirs was not a happy love story. Though Fisher stood by Taylor during her grief over Todd's death, their relationship lacked real harmony. Taylor turned to Fisher more out of loneliness and loss than deep love. When Richard Burton came into her life, her relationship with Fisher unraveled quickly. The romance between Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, which began during the filming of Cleopatra in 1963, became one of the most famous and controversial love stories in Hollywood history. Their relationship was built on intense passion, marked not only by love, but also by constant arguments and conflict. They married for the first time in 1964, and during their 10 years together, they starred in many notable films, including Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which earned Taylor her second Academy Award for Best Actress. However, their life together was far from peaceful. The combination of their 2 strong personalities created a relationship that was both fiery and tumultuous. They divorced in 1974, only to remarry a year later. Their second marriage was equally short-lived, as they separated again after just 9 months. After parting ways with Richard Burton, Taylor entered her 6th marriage with Senator John Warner in 1976. She left Hollywood behind to become the wife of a politician, living on Warner's farm in Virginia. However, the peaceful, isolated life away from the Hollywood spotlight left Taylor feeling lonely and disconnected. This isolation led to depression, and after 6 years, they divorced in 1982. This was one of the most challenging periods in Taylor's life, as she not only faced the collapse of her marriage, but also struggled with health and emotional issues. Taylor's final marriage was to Larry Fortensky, a construction worker she met at the Betty Ford Rehabilitation Center in 1988. This was a more modest relationship, lacking the glamour and fiery passion of her previous romances. Although Fortensky was neither a star nor a powerful man, he brought Taylor a sense of peace. Their wedding took place in 1991 at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, and although the marriage did not last long, Taylor maintained a good relationship with Fortensky even after their divorce in 1996. Elizabeth Taylor experienced many stormy and painful marriages, but she remained resilient and never stopped searching for true love. Each marriage, whether long or brief, was part of the colorful journey of her life. Taylor's relationships and marriages were not just personal stories. They were a testament to the complexities of love and life in the glamorous world of Hollywood. Despite enduring so many heartbreaks, Taylor continued to assert herself as a strong woman, not only on the screen but in her personal life as well. Health and addiction. Elizabeth Taylor's health was a significant aspect of her tumultuous life, especially in her later years, when she was constantly plagued by pain and illness. Her wildly successful film career and complex love life could not overshadow the physical and emotional pain she endured. From a young age, Taylor faced numerous health issues, but she continuously pushed through to maintain a brilliant career and a life full of passion. As a teenager, Elizabeth Taylor suffered a serious accident while filming National Velvet. During a horseback riding scene, she fell hard onto the horse's back, causing an injury that would haunt her for the rest of her life. The back pain from this accident was the beginning of a series of health problems that led Taylor to undergo countless surgeries, ranging from orthopedic procedures to more serious internal medical issues. She once admitted that the persistent back pain was a torment she had to live with for her entire life. Beyond her back problems, Taylor also battled various other illnesses throughout her life. She suffered from pneumonia multiple times, with one particularly severe instance in 1961 requiring a tracheotomy to save her life. This event was a shock for Taylor and her fans, as images of her with a long scar on her neck appeared in newspapers worldwide. It was one of the moments when the public realized that, despite her strong and glamorous exterior, Taylor was still a vulnerable human being. In addition to her health struggles, Taylor also fought against addiction, a battle she faced throughout her life. After the death of her third husband, Mike Todd, in a plane crash, Taylor fell into a spiral of grief and depression. To cope with the emotional pain, she began using painkillers and tranquilizers. Over time, this became a part of her daily life, and it gradually turned into a habit she found difficult to break. Taylor once admitted that she relied on medication to keep working and to overcome the immense pressures of her career and personal life. This habit worsened during her marriage to Richard Burton. Both Burton and Taylor were known for their wild lifestyles and heavy drinking. The two were not only caught up in intense arguments, but also became deeply entrenched in alcoholism. They drank to escape the pressures of life and the intense passion between them. Taylor admitted that her addiction to alcohol and painkillers had numbed both her body and mind, leaving her unable to control herself. Taylor's addiction reached its peak in the 1980s when her health began to decline seriously. In 1983, Taylor decided to confront her addiction by enrolling in the Betty Ford Center, becoming one of the first celebrities to publicly acknowledge their struggle with addiction and seek treatment. This was a brave step in a time when admitting to addiction was still heavily stigmatized by society. After successfully completing treatment, Taylor returned to her work and life, but it wasn't long before she relapsed and had to return to Betty Ford in 1988 for her second round of rehab. In addition to battling addiction, Elizabeth Taylor endured chronic pain and numerous hospitalizations for various health issues. She underwent over 30 surgeries throughout her life, including hip replacements and treatments for heart and lung problems. In 2004, Taylor was diagnosed with congestive heart failure, a serious condition that prevented her heart from pumping blood effectively. This illness gradually weakened her health, confining her to a wheelchair and limiting her public appearances. On March 23, 2011, Elizabeth Taylor passed away from heart failure at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 79. She died surrounded by her family, held in the arms of her loved ones. Taylor had been hospitalized 6 weeks before her death due to heart-related issues, and although doctors did all they could, her health was no longer strong enough to survive this final battle. Taylor's death left a deep sense of sorrow, not only within her family and friends, but also among fans worldwide. The image of Elizabeth Taylor as a glamorous, talented, and strong woman had become an irreplaceable part of Hollywood culture and global entertainment. Her passing marked the end of a glorious era in the history of film and popular culture, but the legacy she left behind will endure forever. Elizabeth Taylor's funeral took place at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, the final resting place of many other Hollywood stars. In true Taylor fashion, with her signature strength and humor, she requested that her funeral begin 15 minutes late, as her final act of tardiness. The funeral was a private event, attended only by family and close friends, but the love and admiration for her spread worldwide. Jewelry. Passion. Elizabeth Taylor had a deep love for jewelry, one of the most dazzling aspects of her life. She owned one of the largest and most valuable personal jewelry collections in the world, including diamonds, pearls, rubies, and emeralds from all over the globe. These jewels were not only symbols of wealth and status, but also represented love stories, romantic gifts, and emotionally charged moments in her life. One of the most famous pieces in Elizabeth Taylor's collection was the Taylor-Burton diamond. In 1969, Richard Burton purchased the 69.4 2-carat pear-shaped diamond from Cartier for over $1 million, a record-breaking price at the time. This gift symbolized the intense love between Burton and Taylor, and also the luxurious life they shared. Originally set as a ring, Taylor found it too large to wear daily, so she had it reset into a necklace. She wore the Taylor-Burton diamond at many grand events, making the stone a renowned symbol forever linked to her name. In addition to the Taylor-Burton diamond, Richard Burton gave Taylor another legendary piece of jewelry, the La Peregrina necklace. This gift was an enormous pear-shaped pearl dating back to the 16th century, once owned by several Spanish queens. The La Peregrina pearl was discovered in Panama in 1513 and passed through many royal hands before reaching Elizabeth Taylor. Burton bought it as a Valentine's Day gift for Taylor in 1969, and she had it set into a Cartier-designed necklace with diamonds and rubies. The La Peregrina pearl has a long and illustrious history, and its connection to Taylor created a special link between her and the royalty of the past. One must also mention the diamond tiara Elizabeth Taylor received from her third husband, Mike Todd. He gave her this lavish gift in 1957, calling it a crown for my queen. Taylor wore the tiara on many important occasions, including the Cannes Film Festival, and it became a symbol of her charm and elegance. For Taylor, the tiara was not just a piece of jewelry, it was a representation of the deep love Todd had for her. When Todd tragically died in a plane crash in 1958, the tiara became a cherished keepsake, a reminder of their profound love. Beyond the gifts she received, Elizabeth Taylor also personally invested in rare gemstones and exquisite jewelry. She owned numerous pieces from some of the world's most prestigious brands, particularly Cartier, Bulgari, and Van Cleef and Arpels. One of her favorite sets was the emerald and diamond collection from Bulgari, gifted by Richard Burton during the filming of Cleopatra in Italy. She had a special fondness for emeralds and owned a stunning set of jewelry, including rings, necklaces, and earrings from Bulgari. In a playful remark, Burton once joked that the only Italian word Taylor knew was Bulgari, and it was true. Taylor had a deep affection for the brand. Elizabeth Taylor did not just love the sparkle of jewels, she saw them as meaningful keepsakes. Her charm bracelet was one of the clearest reflections of this aspect. The bracelet held small charms, each symbolizing a significant milestone in her life. Some charms were inscribed with the names of her children, others were mementos of the films she starred in, and some were tokens from her loved ones. For Taylor, jewelry was not just lifeless objects. They were treasures filled with memories and emotions, helping her stay connected to her loved ones and the pivotal moments of her life. Philanthropy and legacy. Elizabeth Taylor was not only an outstanding actress and a symbol of Hollywood glamour, but also a woman with a compassionate heart, dedicated to helping those less fortunate than herself. When people think of Elizabeth Taylor, they often recall her illustrious film career, but it was her charitable work that truly created an enduring legacy. Taylor's journey into philanthropy began powerfully in the 1980s, when the AIDS epidemic erupted and became a global crisis. At that time, AIDS was still widely misunderstood and heavily stigmatized, with many of those infected being shunned by society. This stigma and lack of awareness spurred Taylor to embark on her mission to fight against the disease. The death of her close friend, Rock Hudson, from AIDS in 1985 marked a turning point in her determination. She became one of the first celebrities to publicly speak out about the disease, calling for both financial support and social awareness. In 1985, Taylor co-founded the American Foundation for AIDS Research, AMFAR, an organization with the primary goal of funding research and raising awareness about AIDS. Taylor's involvement with AMFAR generated widespread attention and helped the organization attract significant donations from philanthropists around the world. But Taylor's efforts went beyond fundraising. She used her influence and fame to participate in public education campaigns about AIDS, breaking down the misconceptions and stigma surrounding the disease. She frequently appeared on television, organized events, and urged the U.S. government to take stronger measures in addressing the epidemic. In 1991, Taylor founded the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, a charity dedicated to providing care, support, and education for those living with HIV/AIDS. ETAF became one of the greatest humanitarian legacies Taylor left behind. Not only was she the founder, but she also played an active role in running the foundation and organizing its fundraising activities. She raised millions of dollars for AIDS research and helped support those affected by the disease, regardless of where they were in the world. For Taylor, philanthropy was not just an obligation, it was the mission of her life. Elizabeth Taylor's dedication to the fight against AIDS earned her numerous awards and recognition from the international community. In 1992, she was honored with the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award, one of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences' most prestigious honors, recognizing her immense contributions to charity. Additionally, she was celebrated by many organizations and nations around the globe for her tireless efforts to raise awareness and advocate for the rights of those living with HIV/AIDS. Elizabeth Taylor's legacy is not just her iconic films or her turbulent marriages, but also her courage, compassion, and unwavering determination in her philanthropic work. She transformed her personal pain and challenges into a driving force to help others, particularly in the fight against AIDS. Her charitable career and relentless efforts to raise awareness and support for those living with HIV/AIDS will forever remain a crucial part of the legacy she left behind. Elizabeth Taylor lived a life full of turbulence, but also incredible brilliance. She was not only a shining star on the silver screen, but also a symbol of strength and humanitarianism. Her death marked the end of an era, but her spirit and influence will continue to live on in the hearts of those who loved her and in the generations to come. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more exciting content. Leave a comment and share your thoughts. See you in the next video. Goodbye.